Now, one of the most repeated questions or comments that I see down below in the comment section, speaking of which, make sure you leave your thoughts and opinions on this video after you've watched, but what book should I read in order to be caught up for this new up-and-coming successor series entitled House of the Dragon based on Game of Thrones? What book should I read in order to be above the average show watcher? Well, those are The Princess and the Queen, The Rogue Prince or the King's Brother, and Fire and Blood. Basically read the first half, or no, just pretty much read all of it. It's a part one and there'll be a part two. There is still some debate on which storyline from Fire and Blood this new series is going to be focusing on. In this video, I'm going to address that, as well as two other things that I want to address in this video in regards to House of the Dragon. Now, before we get started, this video isn't going to be very long, so I don't want to deter too much away from that, but I want to give a big shout out to every single person you see listed up here in the, this is my left-hand corner. I'm not sure if it's been reversed after uploading this to YouTube, but they are all members of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. If you all enjoy these videos, as I've tried to upload every few days this month, I want to continue doing that. YouTube ad revenue is steadily decreasing these days. One of the ways that you could show some support if you like my videos is to consider checking out the link to my Patreon and showing some support. You could donate as little as $1 and every little bit counts. Also, and this is the most important part, make sure you have your notifications turned on so that way you'll get an alert every single time I drop a Game of Thrones video throughout this long night. The like goal is going to be 420. Now, the first thing that I want to address in regarding some of the doubt in this new House of the Dragon series is another one of the comments that I see heavily repeated a lot is, Game of Thrones was so bad, I'm never going to watch anything to do with them again. Well, you're watching a video that's based on the successor series from a Game of Thrones channel that literally does nothing but put out videos that are either covering the leaks from this new series or talking about my favorite moments from the series, or when the show was still on, I covered every single episode, broke it down live, and basically all the content that I put out, you wouldn't know about my channel if you weren't a massive fan of the show. So one of the things I want to address is the budget. Now, I don't really want to talk about the leaks too much in this video, but I've received some reports through the DM. Speaking of which, make sure you go follow me at Sir_Hunts. But the first budget for this new series is going to be, I would predict, higher than the last season of Game of Thrones. Mainly being because it was only 6 episodes and they did like 15 to 20 million per episode, not including the actor's salary. So that's like 90 million total for the season. This new series is going to be using a lot of the money that they made off of that last season and all the mini seasons of Game of Thrones and all the money they're making from this new HBO Max series. So I'm pretty sure we're looking, if the leaks are to be true, anywhere from 250 million to 300 million for this first season. One of the things they can afford to do now that they couldn't so much in the first season of Game of Thrones and really while they were casting it, and I want to speak of casting here in a little bit, but they couldn't really afford to get higher end or top tier acting talent. So they were forced to go with some lower tier actors and actresses. Not to say that they don't have just as much talent as the ones that cost a lot of money, but you got to realize there's going to be more put into this show from the beginning because there is the faith from the executives that it's going to do well. Game of Thrones dominated television for 10 years, and whether you want to believe it or not, it has had a lasting effect on media. Everyone likes to say on certain subreddits that it's just sort of ceased to exist, but that's actually not the case because it's still talked about so much that it trends on Twitter often. Either way, one of the biggest things I think is going to be important and key to this show is the casting. And the rumor is that Nina Gold is going to be the casting director, and she is known for a pretty reputable record in Hollywood, and her IMDb page shows just that. She's known for casting some of the Star Wars films, Game of Thrones, of course, Power, and many other film and television series, and the rumor she's going to be casting this new series, House of the Dragon. One of the big rumors floating around right now as far as regards to casting is Travis Fimmel is slated to play Daemon Targaryen. One of the first castings they're going to announce will be one of the main characters of the television series, and as soon as they do that, all the doubt about what timeline this new series is going to be taking place in will be sent to the debate anyway will be tossed up in flames because we'll know exactly what time period it'll take place in. A lot of these Targaryens have rhyming names, but as soon as they name someone like Damon, Alicent, Rhaenyra, or maybe Aegon the First, Aegon the Conqueror, for those that think that it's going to be, Aegon's conquest of Westeros, as soon as they release the name of the first character they're cast, we're going to know for sure. The thing is that Entertainment Weekly, which is the magazine that's covered all of the details, the insider information that HBO wants to release officially through online or through like a magazine, is always done through Entertainment Weekly. When they wrote that initial article confirming that HBO was moving ahead with a full season of Fire and Blood, they mentioned that it was likely going to take place and be the Dance of the Dragons. Now, I'll try to link that article down below in the comment section, and if I fail to do so, please someone go ahead and do that. But I, in my mind, without a doubt, am positive that the dance is going to be what they choose to go with. Main reason being is because it's very similar to Game of Thrones in that the quest for the Iron Throne is still there, but it has to do with everyone's favorite house. Now, obviously, House Stark is everyone's favorite house, but one of the main draws for this television series is the dragons, the magic, the betrayal, the treachery, the family drama. The one character starts off as evil, but then we get to see their side, where they're coming from, and then it's more like real life, gray. It doesn't, in my opinion anyway, make sense for it to be Aegon's conquest. As much as I would love to see the original Targaryen who conquered Westeros and tried to unite all 7 kingdoms, failed to do so, united 6, but Dorne was later brought into the fold, but I would love to see that story. I would also love to see Robert's Rebellion. I would also love to see Dunk and Egg. I would also love to see a show that's based on the Age of Heroes and the time before Westeros was even discovered and the first men started coming over. I would love to see a spin-off based on Queen Nymeria coming over from the Rhoyne and settling down in Dorne. I would love to see a million spin-off shows about a million different things. The thing is that even though, like I just mentioned, there is no doubt in a spin-off series from Game of Thrones being successful, they want to do it with some bit of confidence in having some similarity to the original show, but just taking place in a completely different time frame and feeling fresh and new and involving characters that are long dead in the main storyline, so they don't have to sort of feel like they're recycling old material. Everything can feel fresh and new, like I just mentioned. And the story and the series itself will still retain those core elements that made Game of Thrones so awesome, while having more dragons and dealing with everyone's favorite house, House Targaryen. Now, the last thing I want to discuss for this video is actually the wait, and I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. Casey Bloys recently confirmed that House of the Dragon is still on track and scheduled to release sometime during 2022. Now, according to my leaks information, they're still going to be filming late into 2021. So if I had to take a personal guess, I would say that we will see a trailer around the end of 2021, a teaser trailer, not really showing anything other than some new graphics, possibly a House Targaryen banner that's been reimagined, and we'll see a few of the dragons. But the cast, I think, will start to be announced by the end of this year. As far as the timeline for when the show actually airs, is like I said, they're going to be filming late into 2021, so I think we'll get that trailer by the end of 2021. As soon as filming wraps up, we know that post and CGI is going to take as long as it did on the later seasons of Game of Thrones. So with that, all of that in mind, I would say by August of 2022, no later than that, we will have House of the Dragon on our television screens, and we will be watching and feasting the fuck up. And the last thing I want to mention for this video is sort of related to what I was just talking about. As soon as the leaks start coming out, as soon as they start officially filming, which is scheduled to begin in just a few months in January of 2021, I make like 3 videos for every picture that comes out and gets leaked online. So as soon as that starts happening, it's going to be like we're in between seasons for Game of Thrones. And you got to remember that we waited for Game of Thrones Season 7, which aired in 2017, okay, the earlier half of 2017. Game of Thrones Season 8, which was 6 episodes, and a lot of people were disappointed by it, took nearly 2.5 years to come out. So this wait that we have, which is now at this point a little over a year and 3 months, it's nothing. It'll fly by, and as soon as those confirmed leaks start coming out, I'll be doing like 7 to 8 House of the Dragon videos a week, so make sure you're subscribed. Speaking of which, I've done like 7 House of the Dragon videos the past 11 days, so make sure you go watch those. All of them are linked down below in the description. Alright, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video, as the like goal is going to be 420. Also, make sure you have your notifications turned on, so that way you'll get an alert every single time I drop a House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, or a Song of Ice and Fire video throughout this long night. Super special shout out to every single member of my Patreon family, which you see listed right over here. And a super special shout out to every single person, you, watching this video. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Owens Reviews.